So Nani Urumahina, she was married to a Mr. Kamo before, so some people may know her as Urumahina Kamo, but her whānau name is Te Pohi Bush. So there's a lot of Te Pohi Bush whānau too around Hawke's Bay and here. So they were wanting to come to introduce themselves because they knew of the connection with Nani Urumahina. So that's the 8 from Nani Hana and 2 from Nani Urumahina. And present here today is actually everyone, every child is represented today except for Nani Nike's brother, Uncle Paul. We were going to have Uncle Simon's daughter, but she's a policewoman and all the police had their leave revoked, so she couldn't attend this weekend. So otherwise we would have had someone from each child. That would have been so awesome. But anyway, she's here in spirit.
Okay, now, first of all, kia ora koutou whānau. We are going to be doing a live screen, so people, our whānau in Australia and UK and around the world can also listen to our Whakapapa Session. Now, our session's been broken up into 2 parts. So this is the first part before our lunch, and then we've got a second part in our after lunch. Okay, just to give you an idea of what today looks like. But just be mindful that this is going to be live stream, so no anything obsessive, right? And also the cable, please, if you need to charge your phone, please do not pull out the cord that's going to be viewed across the world because it's happened before and we don't want it to happen to us. We're going to share a link once it gets rolling. So if you've got whānau overseas who would love to watch our presentation, we're going to share the link on Facebook. If you do not have Facebook, we will, if you can share it to other whānau members who are not on Facebook, because I believe some people here don't have a Facebook, especially our older ones. So just be mindful of that and we'll try and get that link to you. So that's what's going to happen. And when Lockie gives us the thumbs up, you'll let us know that we're live. When we're live, and he will also know what the link is.
Is mine too much intro for the sounding?
Yeah, it is a private
Yo,
link,
video.
so it's a private link.
Is
So,
this too much?
yeah, we want to keep our whakapapa kapu sacred to our own whānau, so it's not going live publicly, let's say. So just be mindful that we try and keep it to our whānau, and yeah, just try and keep it to
I got the mic working, bro. All I need to know is if it's too much for you.
and so,
Video.
I'll carry on. I'll put on my contact, our whānau overseas.
I just wanted to say that for those that don't know, Tracy is from Nani Bubby, this Nani here. So we have a Nani Baba.
This one. You just need to tell me how much volume.
This is for the mic for our audience, and this is for the mic overseas for our live stream.
But I don't have to repeat that.
Okay, so if you don't mind, when it's ready, we can. Yep, cool.
Should just talk to you.
Kia ora, kia ora, kia ora, Josh.
Too much? No, no.
Are we all good to go? I can't hear.
Oh, it's gone up again.
Sounds fine, Mum? Yeah. Tamariki at the back, can you hear me? Oh, yeah. Sweet, thank you. Kia ora whānau who are looking in by live stream. Celia, who's in the UK, and she comes from Nani Bubby. There's other whānau that are streaming in as well. Welcome, and welcome to all our whānau here today. So we're starting with the children of Koro Hoeroa. So Te Hoeroa Tahau the first is his eldest son Eric, then his second son Henry, third son Jimmy, then first daughter Eno, next son David, next daughter Heniaro, Nanny Bubby, our next son, Uncle Kuri, Uncle Sheik, then between Uncle Sheik and Nanny Naika is Uncle Paul, and then Nanny Naika is the last one. And, Auntie, I thought we were breaking up. No, you, Auntie Hine, I thought we were having turns by whānau, yeah? Ah, yeah, kia ora. So what we would like to do, please, is each whānau, including the tamariki, come up for each of these koro and kuia and introduce themselves. So the first one is Eric. So everyone for Eric, I'll bring the mic to Auntie Lou, and we'll gather around Auntie Lou. Can you stand, Auntie? You want your walker? Take it. Bring it. This one. So Vanessa, Tiffany.
All those related to Eric Tahau, your father, grandfather, in-laws, outlaws. Okay. My dad was the oldest of Hoeroa and Hana.
Can you turn up your light? Can you see properly?
And Dad was born in Hastings with Granddad, and they lived at Queen Street, 621 Queen Street, and that's where we were all brought up, in Hastings. Granddad had bought land there. He was very business-like, our grandfather. He had sharing gangs, he had fruit picking, he had so many things, and he said that she was really the brains of the business in the family. She would have them go and pick up coal that had dropped off the trucks as they went to park across the road from where they put their coal. And he would, the boys had to go with their wheelbarrows and pick up the coal, and then they would go and sell it to the Pakira. And that was her, and she would go
And ironing.
to the houses.
Yeah, ironing, yeah.
Pardon?
She did the ironing or the
Yeah. She would also pick up ironing for people, and also she did lots of things that were business-like. She was very entrepreneurial, and I think a lot of us got that from our grandmother and our grandfather. He was very entrepreneurial as well. He started up sharing gangs that the boys and the girls all had their sharing runs, and they were part of our grandfather. One thing I was thinking of, Hannah made me forget.
Oh, sorry.
It'll come back. It's a cancer thing, but it'll come back. Oh, that's right. When he bought the land right in town, he bought it so he could build houses for his children. Each one he made a house, and they were able to live there in these houses on Queen Street. I know most of I'm from a family of 10, and my brothers and sisters, they were all born in my grandmother's house in Bridge Park, except me. I was the first one to be able to go to a hospital and get born in a hospital.
And she's still going to a hospital.
But there's so many things about my grandparents that we have grown up knowing and loving them for what they did and showed us. My dad always said that he only went to Standard 4, and what he learned in business was from his father, and seeing the experiences that they had. What's wrong with my voice? Anyway, the things that he found out and developed was through his grandfather, his father, and they were very well known in Hastings, as well as here in Waitahanui. They would bring truckloads of fruit here to Waitahanui for the people, because the people here didn't have much food. They didn't have much anything. But those ones in Hastings that had the kai, they would always bring kai here for our whānau here in Waitahanui. So they were well known here. It's just now, those days, these younger ones, they don't know our family. And it's sad because we've come back here, but they don't know us. And it's not their fault, it's our fault, because we haven't come back and come to be a part of them. What else, Hannah?
Anything. Maybe give Auntie Widotin while you think. I don't know, up to you.
Oh, all right. Okay. Just one other thing I want to share with you is that growing up, we as children always went to our father's families. We'd go and stay with them, Uncle Kuri, Uncle Sheik, Uncle Henry, Auntie Bubby. Those homes were our homes, and their children were our children. We all grew up together like that as a family. And we became, growing up, strong, connected family. And with anything they needed, our families were the first to come together and help each other. So you just want to share those really special moments that I remember about my parents. My mother was a pūriri, so she was from Kahurunu, Prongata, and her family were very strong in relation to Marae as well. I know the Cowans are living there now, but our family has been, my mother have been a part of that family as well. So, kia ora whānau.
Kia ora, Auntie.
Oh, you're going to sing for us at the end?
Yes.
Okay, fair enough. Kia ora whānau, my name is Sweeto. I'm the youngest daughter of Eric and Jane Tahau. I had two brothers, one standing behind me like a boss, and he's the baby. We were brought up as Mormons, but only a few of us have stayed active. Yeah, and but our father and our mother were really into the Mormon church. They visited the temple over in Hawaii, because that was the only temple until the one that was built in New Zealand. And we had a good life, but we never left out our Tahau whānau at all. Anything that happened within the Tahau, we were right there. And that's because our father was the oldest still alive. I know we had a lot of his nephews and that as sharers for us to give them money, so that they could earn money. And quite a few sharing games, quite a few big ones. And we always looked after the mana underneath the kamara. We always looked after that, and now I believe that there's the cemetery for our kaumatus underneath the maunga. And he did that before he actually passed away. I don't know that. And no, he's done a lot for Tū Whareatua, but in the same thing, Tū Whareatua had brought back life to our family, so that we could provide work for our whānau that were back in Hawke's Bay. And it was always, to our father, it was always family first, right? I mean, a lot of people used to come over from Australia to go and get into the sharing gang, because he had quite big sheds, but it was always whānau home from here, first on the stands and in the sheds. And he was always whānau orientated for everything. If we were picking fruit, we would drop boxes of fruit off and it wasn't stolen, because we were picking it up off the ground. Yeah. Shut up. Yeah, but I feel really proud that we've been able to be brought up like that, to share. And I believe we're sharing here at the same time, and we're all learning from one another. There's a lot of families. What are you doing? Yeah, but we were brought up, but we were also brought up as Mormons, and our mother was very active. It took our father a long time to give up gambling, booze, and other women. But once he turned, you know, he was very active, and he went up to the thing of the stake president in the church, and all his counsellors and that, they thought it was great because every time they had a meeting, Dad would have some mutton there for them to take home. Yeah. But he was a very thing, and I believe he would have all come from his mum and his dad. You know, he was taught from a young age because he was the oldest of the whole family. But he was always taught from our grandfather, you help your family first, and then you go out to the others. And when he was talking about family, he was talking about the Hanaras, he was talking about the ones in Fernhill, everything. To our grandfather, they were the family, right? And I know he used to send Nana and John out with the mutton, you know, to the different ones out of Fernhill, and the ones that were in Hawke's Bay. And then when we were out picking potatoes, a bag of potatoes will go there, go there. And I said, oh, where's ours? Oh, just, yeah, tell me to shut up. But no, we were brought up well, we were taught how to work well, and we were also schooled well, very well. You know, he sent us to the best schools that we could go. Our brother over here went to, what was that Pakira school he went to? Linda's Farm. You know, a very prominent Pakira school. Yeah. Yeah, but Dad was quite proud to send him there because most of his bosses from the shearing shed, their kids went there, you know, because that was their school in Hawke's Bay. And we've always been taught to look after our extended farming, you know, and I'm glad we've got a few of these here, you know, quite a bit. And it's great to be able to supply this for you fellas, to be here to, you know, mix and mingle. And we've even got some from Australia, which is a blessing, you know. So, haere mai tēnā koutou. Kahuhuri mai te kohanga. Oh, thing. But, you know, welcome, and it's a great privilege to have you within our midst. Kia ora tātou. Kia wai? Oh, are you going to sing a song? No. Oh, okay.
Joining us. I'm not very conversant in the Marae language because I've been away from home too long. I've been living in Australia for the last 23 years. But yes, my dad, I had 12 years with him before he passed. He was like a rock in our family. That was hard, but we got through it. My brothers got through it. They helped us out. They taught us what we were supposed to know. Yeah, I was youngest. I was spoiled rotten.
Still.
But I served in the military for 20 years. Then once I finished my time in there, it was time to move on to another adventure in my life. So I took my family to Australia. We went there for another 23 years. And it's looking like coming back home soon, hopefully.
Who put you in the military? Who
Right?
put you in the military?
I put myself in the military.
When did you?
The only reason why I don't think my brothers and sisters know this, but the only reason why I went into the military is because I didn't want to go on the Mormon mission. So I had a choice. But that was my choice, and that's what I chose to do. But on the other side of the coin is the military taught me a lot. They gave me a purpose, they gave me a life, and that's where I went to. But most of it came from my dad. A lot of it came from him. You could tell, you know, like you just hard. If you didn't go hard, you were going to go home. That's what it was. But it's great. It's just so awesome to have everybody here. I didn't think we were going to make it, did we, hun? But we did it. We came. And I just feel sorry for the others that didn't make it because they've missed out on what we have here today. So much, Aroha. So much. And I've learned a lot too. I've learned a lot how to be patient with my sisters.
And his nieces.
and my nieces. But it's been great. But I'll leave it up to the rest of this younger crew to carry on.
Kia ora
None
koutou.
yet.
Okay, kia ora koutou, ko Diana Tahau tuku ingoa. I'm the 6th oldest grandchild here at our Wananga.
Above me.
Yeah. And my dad was John Nuenata Puriri Tahau. He was the 2nd son of Eric Tahau. He was the 3rd born of Eric Tahau. My memory, because I'm knocking on the door of 6-0. I don't know.
No, cousin.
But I'm feeling like Auntie Rita at times because, you know, she got that mana and that beauty and everything else. And I was looking at my Auntie Rita last night and I was thinking, and she had her hair out, and it's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to look like her when I get to the age. But beautiful Auntie. My memory of Granddad and going through the shearing sheds, Dad was, when Granddad passed away at the age of 54, am I correct? Dad was thrown straight into that shearing shed gang. So we and him had to awhi him into the business. So he gathered around with Nanny Cotter, organising the shearing gang. So he had a really good run with the shearing gang for around about at least 20 years. And my memories of Granddad was going up on the blue car with Lehigh, sitting at the back, frothing at the mouth, because Granddad would have his heater pumped up. And we're sitting at the back sweating, and he wouldn't let us touch those windows. No way. And what I also remember of Granddad being so tall, big, but not over big, loud at times, bossy, grumpy, scary, but we really loved our Granddad. And what he loved was having his whānau around as much as possible. So there was that greenhouse down Elwood Road that we grew up. There was also
Blue, cousin.
blue, sorry, not green. Our house is green. Blue house. Nan had her beautiful garden, but sometimes our young adults will come up the driveway and miss the road and take out her roses while we're out there watching. So that's one memory. I just want to share you a kōrero that Auntie Colleen gave to us last year about Queen Street, about her granddad, Hoeroa. She told us the story that there were 2 houses. There was the house on the corner and the one next to it. He had moved into that house, and then when Granddad and Nan started to have their children, he moved out and lived right next door. What happened one day, there was a fire in the Granddad's house, in our great-granddad's house. So they had all these tongas in the house, and instead of grabbing, or trying to get out for a thing, trying to get out of the whare, they chucked the tongas out the window first. So there were only a couple of tongas that were saved, and that was the korowai. I can't see the korowai on anyone there, but there was a korowai that was there, that was him. There were 2 korowais. There is another korowai that is in existence that was chucked out. And what Auntie Colleen had kōrero with us was that he used to travel down from here to Hawke's Bay quite a bit on his waka, and they on his waka was Charlie Tahau, because Pakiras couldn't pronounce his name correctly. Tapai?
Yep, he did.
So there's some photos on the wall that has that truck on there with Charlie Tahau. So he did a lot of travelling from there to here. He was also well known in the community on the Motu and Hawke's Bay, and people would gravitate towards him because he was such a big man too. I mean, didn't look like in the pictures, but everyone knew him.
because he was such a business-orientated person. And so he had his trucking business. He had his, and that was so successful. Even my dad was driving for his granddad at first, and his brothers. Oh yeah, for his fathers. But and then so when Auntie Colleen was telling me she used to live with Granddad, with her grandfather, and so she had some more stories there. I do have that recorded, but I haven't brought it up because I've been too busy in helping. And it was a beautiful korero that she shared with a few of us. Our Nan, such a humble woman that she was. I just thoroughly loved my Nan, and I'm named after my Nan, and my daughter's named after my Nan. And I had a lot of time with my Nan. I even moved in with my Nan for a couple of months down Elwood Road before she moved up to Hamilton. She was a good cook. She was humorous, she was funny, she was able to let her mokapunas throw her in the swimming pool and still laugh. She represented hockey, Hawke's Bay hockey, with her other sister, Nani Kora, Hana Kora. She was a... Would you like to tell the story? She was a... Beautiful. She was also a representative of the Māori Women's Welfare League, and a wool classer, a top registered wool classer, and a very hard worker. And she started at a very young age, having her babies and also looking after her mother's children and other children. All the time. Very staunch in the church. She loved the church. She got a degree in her 70s, Māori degree in her 70s. She did that. When she was 75, she went on a mission and served the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Aussie. Melbourne. There you go. They're telling me the story now. Our case pipe. What am I going to say? Oh, Dad had finished up his mahi with the shearing and that, and he came to Taupo, and he started doing the mahi for our lands. And that's when a lot of things started to roll for us to come back together. I think that was probably in the early 80s. They were calling him to come. They needed help to get Fletcher off our land, get our land back, because our land was leased out for over 100 years, I believe, and that lease was coming up. And Fletcher or Harvey or someone had the land. They were growing their trees. So once the lease was up, they started charging them to get their trees off the land. So they weren't allowed to get on those tracks unless they paid for it. The thermal power, they set all that up. And for tūwhari toa, now I believe for myself, for my child, for your children, for yourself, you can get pūtea for education, you can get health, teeth done, your kaumātua grants every year. Please, please, I tell you, use it, register tūwhari toa and use it. It's there, the money, the pūtea is there for us to use, and share it. Let everyone know that it's there for us to use. So education, health and wellness, kaumātua grants, that's with dental, health, and I've applied for things as well.
And Wananga, too.
And Wananga, so kia ora koutou, ka moto.
Just go one more again. Have a sit down, Auntie. Have a sit down. I just got a message to come by my mum. Just hold like that. So, Mum can have a turn while I get myself ready.
Okay, I'm married to, here we go again, these bossy girls. I was married to their oldest brother, Nana, and we had 7 children, lost one, and I've been in Australia for about 22 years, been home for about 5, and good to be home. Thank you.
Deanna's number 7 and I'm number 8 of Eric and Jane's grandchildren. And Dad always told me I was named after Hannah. So you know how all teenagers go? They want to go and cut their hair. I was never allowed to cut my hair. So this hair is in representation of Nanny Hannah. And I've never had a haircut. I've just kept trimming it so it's not all wriggly at the end. But that's about it. Cousin Vanessa is after us.
I'll stand next to my cousin Courtney. Kia ora whānau. My mother is Serena Hana Tapaia. She, I think, was number 4. And she got the name Serena because she was whānaued to a different family for a little while, but the Hana Tapaia comes from Hana Tapaia. Yeah, from your grandmother. So she would always say to me that she was not named after Nanny Hannah Cotter. She would say to me, not that Hannah, in a voice that made me think. And there was always a picture on our wall. It hung there until Mum died, and we always knew that that photo was to go straight to Hannah, which it did. Yeah. So I don't have a lot of memories of my grandfather. I was 4 when he died, but I was thinking as everyone was speaking, so one is ice cream with watermelon. I still eat that, and my family think, where did you get that from? My grandfather. So he would have big tubs of ice cream in the freezers in the back at Elwood Road, and that's how they would eat it. I remember his tangi was very sad. Yeah. And I remember sitting on his lap. Yeah. Kia ora. This is Courtney. She is the youngest mokopuna.
Yeah, I'm the youngest. Lehigh is my dad. I have an older brother, and he's now got 1 baby and 1 on the way. Yeah, it's really good to be here. It's very, very good.
Like literally, thank you, Courtney. I would just like to introduce my younger brother is Rakai. This is his eldest son. They wanted to name him after Uncle Hemi, but his first name's Tegan, then it's Hemi, then it's his grandfather's from Croatia, so it's Marco. So, kia ora.
Yep. Kia ora tātou. I'm here representing all my family from back in Australia. Like she said, I'm the eldest son of Rakai. And yeah, I just love being here and seeing everyone, old faces and whatnot. Yeah, it's good to see everyone. Kia ora.
Kia ora. Just quickly say your name.
I'm Georgia. I carry Jane and Tahau with me.
I'm Stephen Bailey. My father was Alan Bailey. He married Serena. We always knew her as Serena. My memories of Serena was that she kind of adopted me and made me feel like I had a new family. And I watched her grow in the last few years before she passed into a very efficient businesswoman. And she became very assertive in herself and started educating herself. And she was growing very, very quickly into a very fine older woman. And I have very pleasant memories of her. My son, when he was born, she was kind of nuts over him. You know, she couldn't stop holding on to him and talking to him, and lots of photos. So I have very pleasant memories.
Just kind of step forward. Oh, and Tiff is still here too. Okay.
My name is Fabian Hoeroa. I'm Nessa's oldest daughter, and my grandmother was Serena.
My name is Raphael Cater. My name is Raphael Cater. My mum is Vanessa, and
I'm Dominic Hupper. These are my two daughters, and Vanessa and I have been together for a very long time. Unfortunately, I never met Serena, but I'm very grateful to be here with all of you today.
My name's Tiffany. I'm the daughter of Luana. I'm the sixth born, and if you didn't know, I'm my favourite. She'll probably never tell you that, but yeah. So did everybody hear that online in Australia? I got the rako. Hey? Oh, sorry. Is this the thing? Is this the mic? Oh, well. Oh, I see. So my grandfather, Eric, he passed away a year before I was born. So I didn't know him in real life, like here. But because I was the first muckle born after my grandfather passed, my nan came to my mum and asked for me. And my dad said, nah, you can't have her. But I spent a lot of time with my nanny. And my uncle would always come pick me up, and we'd go up to Kyle to Auntie Wido's. I have really precious memories of collecting kaimawana with my nan that I didn't never eat, but she liked these boo-boos off the rocks down by Auntie's place. We'd go down the cliff to the beach was right there, and pick them off the rocks for her and pin them out for her. Yeah, yuck. But my nan, she was infamous for her Hoeroa bread and many other recipes that I've heard over the years. And I just learnt they had a cannery. Everybody, Trace Cuzzy was telling me they share their food around, and it was part of their life back then to look after one another and share what they have with one another to make sure that, because everybody had heaps of kids. So, share around what they had, and it wouldn't just be a little bit of something, it would be a lot. And they'd still have some for their children, and they looked forward, they looked to the future. So they'd preserve, and I learned they'd share those around, but my nanny and granddad had a cannery, so that was quite flash in the time. And everybody would get glass jars preserved, but they knew whose was Henny and Eric's, because theirs was in cans. So, the foresight of my grandfather is what I've learnt about since being here, not just here, but throughout my lifetime. I've heard the stories of my aunt, and I'm still learning things. Proud to be my grandfather's granddaughter, because I hear stories about him coming around here and telling people off and telling them get off, or your lease is expired, get your stuff and get out. We're waiting here, you got this much time, all the kids, and it takes all his kids. Hey, stands there, up. And it's so funny stories, because my grandfather's a big man, huge, tall, large in stature, large in personality, but very authoritative, and that's in our blood, like staunch. Say it straight up to your face, deal with it right here and now, and then let's carry on. You got mahi to do. So, and he was all about it. Let's sort it out, grab a picture. Come on, Eric, let's sort it out. My nan right behind it with the raka, we will leave. Hey, to work hard as well. Look from our nan or raise, don't let that raka ride. she'll have your walking stick and, hey, Tommy, get over there, what's this? Come on, let's hurry up and fix this up, and that's all we want to do about it. Couldn't have done it by some naughty kids, eh? She's not talking about me, but my auntie Eva taught me the trade of leona making, leona bread. She's the only one that's persisted with me to do that, and now I'm so proud of that as well, because that's something my nan was renowned for. And yeah, my brother Harlan's named after my granddad. I tell you, talking too much. You're still listening. Okay, that's 1 minute. Whoa. Okay, what else can I say?
Nothing, we're going to sing.
All right.
Give it.
Hey, I need that back here.
There is beauty, toruwha. There is beauty all around when there's love at home. There is joy in every sound when there's love at home. Peace and plenty here abide, smiling sweet on every side. Time does softly, sweetly glide when there's love at hand.
Kia ora tātou.
Uncle Tony and Uncle Guff. Uncle Tony and Uncle Guff. No. Then cousin Henrietta. Henrietta. We don't have Uncle Henry's sons here. Oh, okay. They were here for Kai, but we're not sure where they are. Yeah, we're going to Henrietta. Yeah. So after Henrietta will be Nanny Bubbies, and if Uncle Tony and them are here, they'll get a turn. But right now we'll go straight to Nanny Ino. They're just having a kōrero at the back there. Cousin Henrietta? He's too shy to come in. Uncle Tony's here, but he's too shy to come up. So we'll go to Nanny Eno, and you can introduce yourself, cousin.
Kia ora tātou. Why don't we get everyone up, eh? All of our whānau, all of us. Kia ora, hara mai. Well, kia ora tātou. So we are the we are about to see Uncle Tony here. Uncle Tony. And we'll stand behind you, Uncle.
What's he? Oh. I'm Tony Tahau, one of Henry and Alice's boys. There's 13 of us in our family. There's only 4 of us left. Morris, Henry, me, and Vicky. All the rest have passed on, so, yep. Oh yeah, my dad. Oh, I'm great. I'm real glad to be brought up by him because he was a good man to us. He was a good person. He just brought us up to work hard, made us work every day from when we were little fellas, from about 9 upwards. And that way made me a good worker. Yeah. Dad. Yeah, no, he was real good with his brothers and sisters. He loved your grandmother a lot. He was real close to her. Oh, Mum, that's Alice. Yeah. She was the same. Yeah. That's about it. Hey? Nah. Yeah. Kia ora.
Thank you. Well, thank you, Uncle. So this is our Uncle Tony, and so my name's Henrietta Hillman, and I've been named after Kuro Henry, Henrietta, and my middle name is May. As Uncle said, our grandmother's name is Ino, May Tahau, and my middle name is May. So Nanny, she was married to Wharehina Paul, and they together had one issue, and his name is also Wharehina Paul, who is our father. So just that in itself is interesting. So our Nan was, when she was married, she was up in Wananga, and that is where our father lived. So it was, not sure if it was a 2 or 3 bedroom house, but our father and they shared it. It was a shared accommodation with other family members of the Paul family. And so that is where Nanny Ino, or Nanny Spud, as I knew her, Nanny Spud in her married life, she lived up in Runanga, which is in Heretaunga, which is in Hastings. At the passing of her husband, our grandfather, our father and our grandmother, they moved for a short season there to our Hānara whānau, which is down in Omahu, and they stayed with Kurorangi. And so they were housed there, and my father, he recognised the elder siblings of Kurorangi as his brothers. So Dad was quite blessed in the fact that he had family on his poor whānau side that he grew up with on the Marae, and then he came down to the Hānara whānau, and they were also his whānau. And lo and behold, we also have a big Tahau whānau. So from there, I'm not too sure where my grandmother and my father lived. However, there was a point in time when they ended up in Caroline Road. And Caroline Road is where we were all born, bred and raised. And on the other side of Caroline Road, we walked through Tamona Showgrounds to Elwood. And in Elwood Road is where our other grandparents lived, which are my grandmother's brothers, older brothers, and that was Kuro Henry and Kuro Eric. And as I said, that was the blue house and the white house. And I don't know why we remember it like that, or if that's how our mum reminded us that this one here in the blue house is Kuro Eric, this one over here in the white house is Kuro Henry. But it helped us to remember, or helped me to remember, that these were my grandmother's brothers. Thinking of my Nan, our Nan is buried in Hastings, and she is buried next to Hana Te Paia King, her mother. So both of them lie together in our Hastings urupa, and my husband, he would walk to work and he would go and visit my nanny and my great-grandmother on his way to work and on his way back. And he would go, Mum, I've been in, Mum, he would call me Mum, Henrietta, I've been in to see your nanny and your great-grandmother. And I said, oh, cool, Dad, that's cool. Kind of brushed it off until now I'm thinking, well, what a wonderful thing that my husband has done. So that's our nan and our grandmother. They are buried together in Hastings. Also thinking about my childhood with our nan, she must have been that kind that I could, we had these couches in our sitting room, and I was allowed to, for some reason, Nan would be sitting on the couch and I could sit on the back of her couch and just play with her here. I'm not sure why, but that was something, I don't know, I felt like a cat. Last night I mentioned in her room, she had lots of cats, but I kind of felt like one of the cats where I was sitting on the back, perched up behind my grandmother and able to just play with her here. So I was very blessed to have been raised in the same home as our grandmother, and at the same time she also had our sister, our whangai sister Diane. So there was Diane with my nanny, and then I'm the oldest girl, and then so there was me as a granddaughter. So yeah, we've got two older brothers, Wharehina Paul, and then our brother Morris Paul, and then there's myself, there's my sister Sonia, then our brother Joachim, and then quite a big gap between us, but then we were really blessed with our younger sister, Sapphire, who's over here. Our mum, her name is Carleen Paul, and she is from Motiol. She's a Kemp, Kaifata, from Motiol, and her and our older brother Morris lie together in our other marae over in Motiol. So I think that's enough from me. Other than this, my husband's name is Peter Hillman, which he was here, and we do have two children, Angel and Te Mana Pōtiki, and we've just been blessed with a wonderful grandson, and his name is Izil Te Mana Hillman. So, kia ora tātou, ko au tēnā. Kia ora tātou.
As you heard, ko hau te teina o Henrietta, and he te whakaro au ka hoki ngā mahara, and I think one of the sweetest memories, I think, just like right now, I was thinking about how close Dad was with his cousins, because he didn't have siblings as such from his mum and dad. He was really close with his cousins, and particularly Uncle Tony and Uncle Mitch and these ones from Koro Henry. I do know that Koro Henry supported Nanny and Dad in finding and sorting employment and then getting into our whare down Caroline Road, and that's a huge mihi to our whānau, Koro Henry's line and Uncle Tony's whānau. I don't have much about Nanny, but yes, it's sort of quite overwhelming being here, because we didn't come here with Dad. I don't remember coming here with Dad. This is the first time I've stayed here, and it's without Dad. So it's nice to meet a lot of Dad's whānau. There's heaps. Hello to you. Especially Nanny Bubby's whānau, because I'm really close with a couple of the moko of Nanny Bubby, and that's Geraldine and Tacha. So it's quite buzzy to really connect like this in this whānau reunion. But like I said, this is the second time I've been here. The first time I came here with my brother, Morris, and he's not here either. So, but this, I've really enjoyed coming here and actually sleeping in our whare, and then to go to another marae and see our tupuna up the top there, Te Rangi Tahau, was like, oh, wow, we, like we felt connected, we felt like we were home there at Waipahihi too. So really feel honoured and privileged, and
thank you, especially our hānara whānau, really blessed us bringing the kuia here too. And to say, hey, that's not this one, this is that one. That's, oh, koro te Hoeroa Tahau's tuahine tāneko's mahine. Oh, wow. Yeah, so that was just another, just a really, like a cherry on top to have this puti puti, and that was that waiata chosen for you, puti puti kanehana for you five, but we had already had our pai tapu, a Marae kura and matua, and then we just got topped off, so just a real blessing, and to know that Dad was also supported by our hānara whānau o Mahu. It's a sweet touch to our day, that connection with our hānara whānau o Mahu. So everybody here, heaps of treats for us all. Hey, ngā mihi, tēnā koutou, and just want to mihi to my younger brother who's got heaps of kids too, and he's not here, and he's going to get a good ring around the ears because he will bum out. He will bum out terribly when we go home and let him know all these things that we've learned and all these wonderful connections we've made. So he won't be missing the next one. But thank you. Oh, this is my, I got two sons, Ihai and Tonga. Thank you.
Kia ora koutou. Koe te pōtiki o Carleen Dale Kosani, and just to piggyback what my tuakanas have said, I'm the sister. Just in English, I'm the sister. I've been asked a few times, where's your mum? These are my sisters, not my mum. My mum couldn't be here. So yeah, let's clarify. Sister, I'm the baby sister. But yeah, there is the big gap, that's why, between the one who's getting his ears ringed and then me. Okay? So, yeah. And just to introduce my tāne, John Mulaney from Waihoki, Ngāti Pāro, and yeah, descendant of Kariha Te Moananui. And we're also from Kaifata. And just on that, my children, Johnson, Tiare Mulaney, and so arriving here the other day for the pōwhiri and seeing the pai manuhiri that we were sitting under is named Hinepari. And I was like, hey, that's my baby. So this is Hinepari Mulaney, and the connection for her name is actually through our mum, Hinepari Carleen, and our hapu, Ngāti Hinepari, through Motio, and our tūpuna Hinepari. But then to find a new connection, and hono for the significance of her name, being Hinepari, the wife of Te Rangi Ka Pipi, and the pai tangata whenua, and so it goes Pakira, tu te mohuta, Te Rangi Ka Pipi, married Hinepari. And this is Hinepari, this is my own little Hinepari. So that's me, tēnā koutou katoa.
So hei whakakapi tēnei kōrero, he kōrero iti, mō taku tungane. I go this way because he's younger. He was actually at Uncle's 70th birthday last night. Yes, so he was celebrating with his uncle last night. So I just thought I'd cover my brother, although he'll still get a little screw of the ears when we get back. But he's got a valid reason, okay, Uncle? Thank you for turning up to cover our brother. So, yep, so hei whakakapi I tā tātou wā kōrero, ka waiata mātou I tēnei waiata tai aroha ko tingoa. Tā tātou waiata. Koro Henry and Annie Eno's whānau together, tā tātou waiata tahi ko tai aroha. Ko te aroha no he wai, e pupua ke ana, he awa he mapu ki roto i te whatu manawa. Ko tōna matapuna he hohonu, aina ia ka rere anō. Ko tōna matapuna he hohonu, aina ia ka rere anō. He tai timu, he tai pari, he tai ore, he tai roa, he tai nui, he tai nui, he tai nui.
The last time I did come, I want to meet out to Kuro John Waitiri's whānau, because that was our last time when I came here. We come here to bring Uncle John Waitiri. So me atu ki tira whānau, tūroa, koutou, haere, te koutou. Pisi hono tātai hono, ko rātou ko moi, kia rātou. Rātou te hunga ora, kia tātou, tina koutou, tina koutou, tina koutou. Kia ora.
Beautiful, near cousins. Okay. After Nanny Eno, whoa, Nanny Bubby, Harum Hai. Here they come.
Oh, kia ora whānau. We are Nanny Bubby's whānau for Tracy Waitiri Kota'au. I'm the daughter of the oldest sister, daughter of Nanny Bubby, and her name Colleen, Uru Mahina and Kota'au. And I actually live in Brisbane, and my dad said, you better come because my mum passed last year. And she's always been proactive in getting our whānau together. Her, my mum, Auntie Polly, and a few other whānau were very active in putting our Tahau book together, and she helped put the King book together. And as you can see on the table over here, those are all Mum's photos. Her whakapapa was strong in her, and she passed that knowledge down to me. And I was just telling Hene,
I'm always helping Mum do everything you see here. She's the one that helps in the kitchen. Not only my mum, all of her sisters, and you'll get to meet the other sisters. They were all into catering, and so you can see her daughters have really got into the catering side of things. Hospitality, you name it. Well, I'm actually an art teacher, so I get lumbered with all the artistic stuff, obviously, but my mum was very proactive in getting our whānau together, and so Hannah rings me up, goes, "Cuz, we have to do this," and I said, "For Mum, I'll do it." And so it's really beautiful to have all our whānau here, and plus we've got all our precious taonga here with us too, which is amazing. And so we're blessed to be here. And so Mum was the oldest, and she only had me, and we've got Michael, who's in Sydney, and I've got one, Tamariki, Lucas, put your hand up, please, Bob. Lucas, and he's named after my grandfather, Peter James Lucas. And Peter James Lucas is still alive. He lived down in Upper Hutt with Helen, the other sister, and he's going to be 93 this year. And his birthday's in April 28th. And so I spent time with Granddad, even took photos, filmed him driving the car, saying hello to us. And I've even got filmed him saying, "Thank you, sorry whānau, I can't be here." So his heart is with us, and he really would like to have been here. And so after Mum, there is Auntie Lita, who also passed, and she's not able to be here as well. And plus her oldest son, Justin. And Justin is actually older than me by a year. And then we've got the sister, which is Celia. Now Celia wanted to be here today, but she couldn't. And it was her idea to make it live stream because she's in England and she couldn't be here with us. And Justin and Celia, like my siblings, they're like my brother and sister, and Henny and Helen too. And we're very tight and very close. And so I said to Celia, let's make it happen. So that's why we've got this live stream happening, and we've got this Whakapapa Session happening. So again, we're blessed to be here. And so also we have Anton, who's been whāngai to our beautiful auntie over here. And so, and he's also got tamariki of his own, Hawaii auntie, 3 girls and a son, beautiful tamariki, and they live in Sydney. And so like our whānau are far and wide. And a moko. Oh, and a moko as well. Thank you, Auntie. Wow. Okay, so we've got Auntie Lita's, and then after Auntie Lita we have Auntie Stephanie. Now, all these pretty wahine behind me are part of Auntie Stephanie's whānau. Okay, you guys want to put your hand up? And Tatiana's going to talk. And Tatiana can talk about her mum, because the beautiful about Auntie Steph is that she was able to have 2 whānaus, and she was also whāngai. And Tatiana will talk about that. And also after Auntie Steph, we have Auntie Charlene. And Uncle John, I forgot Uncle John, the one and only brother. And yes, Uncle John, he's got a lot of mokos here. And so all of Uncle John and son, all of Uncle John, put your hand up, please. Oh, too much. And yes, Auntie. How quiet they are. Okay, we've got Turoa. Turoa's over here is his eldest, Turoa, and Turoa can talk about his dad. And after Uncle John, we have another sister, which is Auntie Charlene, and she'll be joining us later this afternoon. And she had got 2 beautiful children too, Vainor and Kanan, and they have mokos, and apparently they'll be back later this afternoon too, except for Kanan. Kanan is in Auckland, and Raynor lives in Hawke's Bay, Hastings. So after Auntie Charlene, we have the younger Pōtikis, so there's a bit of an age gap, which is why Mum ended up looking after Helen and Henny because of that age gap. Like there wasn't many years between us two, and so I kind of got pushed to the side, and her older sibling kind of took first place, and I ended up taking third place. And so I had to share my mum with Helen and Henny, and so that's why they like bossing me around. But anyway, so we've got Helen, and Helen is in Upper Hutt, and she got a beautiful son, one boy, and plus he married a Russian, and they've got three beautiful sons, Morgan, Troy, and Noah. Okay, so that's Helen, and she's based in Upper Hutt, and she actually looks after Granddad. So right opposite her whare is Granddad's little unit, and he's independent, he lives on his own, but he has Helen as a neighbour. And then we've got the Pōtiki here. And so, Tūwhiti o te rangi, Jane, Waitere. And there's a story behind that. Right. There's a story behind that, how she got her name. And she got two beautiful children here. One is Joshua Wiramu, the oldest, and Jay Tapaya, her youngest. And these are her babies. Millie Tapaya and Rosa. Oh, Millie Tapaya and Rosa. Oh. Okay, and these are her mokos, Henny's children and mokos. How about the rest yours? Oh, and me, I said I've got Lucas. Yeah, Lucas, my one and only. But I've got a special story about that too. So I'll pass it on to Tatiana. You want to just say something about your mum?
Tatiana's the bossy one, and she made me talk first. So I'm child number 2 of Stephanie, and our mother was whāngai, and she was actually whāngai to Nani Janie's brother, Hemi Pūriri. So we were brought up in Bridge Park, and we didn't know that she was whāngai until we moved back to New Zealand back in 1984. And I'm hearing all these entrepreneurial traits, and Mum and Dad had a restaurant in Ahuriri called the Polynesian Palace, and they were dancers and entertainers and restaurateurs and caterers. So I remember meeting Auntie Colleen and Auntie Hine, but I also remember meeting Auntie Helen in Australia. So we didn't understand the connection. It was all a bit confusing because we were brought up with our Pūriri aunties and uncles who we just spent time with at Christmas time in Australia. So learning about all of our Tahau whānau was pretty exciting. And we were also tag and babysitters for Auntie Hanette. So I think she thought it was pretty awesome too, having all these nieces around her. And we used to look after Jaden, Josh, and Aaron Paul in Wellington. And what a blessing that was for us to get to know our aunties. And we felt that. We felt that connection with them, and that we loved them. We loved them all. And also Auntie Colleen was with Mum and Dad as well. Lived across the road from the school that we attended. So we used to go over there after school and see what cookies she had in her cupboards, and that was pretty awesome. I think Auntie Colleen loved our brothers more than us. You know, Tater lived with her, and Monty, he was allowed to cruise in and out of her house whenever he wanted to. He's been busy at the Urupa preparing Auntie for tomorrow. So that's our brother, and this is his daughter here. What's your real name? Nevaeh. Heaven backwards. So, did you want to carry on with Mum? shall I go into my kid? So I've got 5 kids. My eldest one, Peter, he's one of a twin. And he's our sports guy, canoe outrigging. He's got some pretty big races coming up this year. So watch this space. And we've got 2 mokopuna, Kai and Raniera. And Chisa, his twin, he lives in Hawaii and works at the Polynesian Cultural Centre. So if you want the hookups, PM. He works in the Māori village and also night show with his wife, Kathleen Lassie, who's Samoan. After that is Ben Jarmon, and he lives in Palmerston North. He's going to be gutted as that he didn't come here because he's all about whakapapa. And after that is Helaman, and Helaman lives in Sydney, Australia, as well. And my one after that is Chalice Hanemoa, who's named after Mum, and she's my youngest. So my sister and I, we do catering as a full-time thing, and it's been, thank you, Hannah, for asking, for trusting us, because this is koha, it's love. And we know that the kitchen is the heart, and we wanted to be right there in the middle of it all, meeting all of our cousins and just being in the thick of it. And the way that we operate is what our mother taught us, and that's just to have fun, make it a pretty cool experience, and the detail and just the touches, and bringing in all of our kids to teach them. So that comes from our mum, and I see where she also gets that on from all of our whānau here. So I'm going to pass it over to Tatiana.
Kia ora tātou. Just running off the back of Geraldine, I always blame Nanny Janie for our whāngai connection. My story is that she stole my mum and gave my mum to her brother, Jimmy Puriri. And so I credit her with that. That's my version of the story. And we, as a result, we grew up really, we have strong rooted connections in Bridge Pa, Here Taunga, our kahununu side. And about 20 years ago, I was at a Wananga, and I heard someone say they whakapapa to whareto Waitahanui, and I went, oh, I'm from there, you know, quietly when you're a bit shy. Oh, I'm a Tahau, and she's like, are you? And anyhow, we got to talking, and one thing that really resonated with me, actually it stuck in my head, she goes, you need to come home. You need to know your Tahau side. You are from the direct line, the bloodline of the chief, Te Rangi Tahau. You need to come home. And then her side comment was, because those Tahau's there that are representing you are kore. And she was joking. But she says, you need to come home. And I actually made a decision that day that I'm going to know my Tahau side. And so it's been actually a lifelong journey. As Geraldine said, when you're young and you don't know whakapapa, you just, you know, your adventure in life takes you there. So learning the waitere whānau when we were younger, and you know, sometimes I go, that's where all our handsomeness comes from, the waitere line. I hadn't finished. Then as I started to learn the Tahau line, I'm like, oh, there's where it comes from. But then Dad says, no, that's the Cowan side. But I think it's so important that these wānanga, these reunion are continued. 30 years is a bit long. As a result, I went to school with Henrietta, and I think we didn't know that how close we were, that our nannies were sisters. So much so that I think we walked around school going, we actually did, you know. Te Paia, I remember seeing her as an older girl at school. Didn't know, we're actually so close, and those are things that we missed. Sonia, we actually connected because through work. I always used to wonder, how come Anton, who was my side, was given to you? Now I know Now I did know a while ago, but that used to sit in my mind. How did Auntie Huite get Anton from this side? I knew the connection, but now, as you get older, these relationships and the whakapapa and the stories become more relevant to you. And so it took me a long time. I'm not really into whakapapa that much, but I like the stories and the hononga, the connections that take me on my life's journey. I wrote a few things and now I've just lost it. Hang on, I really want to say them though.
She's got 7 kids.
Oh, so no, having these reunions is probably really important. These they don't have to be reunions where you register, Wananga opportunities to come together, because it just matters. It really matters. I'm around that 50 age, and I'm only just starting to. It's only really starting to matter to me now, as I start being a nanny. And I start looking around and thinking how important it is. Anyhow, I have 7 kids. The last reunion, the 30 years ago, me and my husband just hooked up. We were a couple of weeks into our relationship. So I have really good memories from 30 years ago when we came here, but I actually didn't pay attention to all the whakapapa then. Other things are on my mind. So I have great memories of that 30 years ago. We have 7 kids. Only one is here, our youngest daughter, and one of my mokopuna, Bubby, who actually has our name's name. A sister, Hiniare, is her other name. Vanessa's not here. Yeah, we've got a couple missing. Anyhow, that's me. Kia ora. Oh, yes. And today we have 4 generations that are standing here as a result of my moko. Stand up, Bubby. Kia ora. I'm going to give it to Hoeroa.
Kia ora whānau, I'm Tūro Waitere, I'm John and Verna's oldest son. It's kind of special for me anyway to have my sisters here. We've lost 3 brothers and we've gained a sister that we all knew about. But it's taken this long for us to actually cross paths with her, and we're yet to mourn our parents together as a family of brothers and one brother, and still got a sister in Aussie yet to come home. The old man, he was I think we lost count at 40 mokos that we know of.
All of us.
All the ones we know of. Yeah. Well, there's 13 all up. There's 11 boys and 2 girls, and they come from 7 different relationships. And, well, I look back and lucky to still be here. But much to my father and mother for our upbringing and them connecting us with our Tahau whānau. That everything we have today is thanks to our upbringing in the caring industry with our whānau. Our father lies next to his father, who's lying next to his father. I think there's 4 of them there. Our tainui Whakapapa, through our mum. We whakapapa to the Takitimu waka. Kahanunu. Take it from me, sis. That's our...
Yep. Kia ora whanau. I'm Heidi Waitere. I'm the pōtaki of whānau. Yeah, we have 7 in our whānau. There was Hoeroa, Claudia, she lives in Perth. Diane, she got whāngai to everybody, it seems. Leah, where are you, Leah? Oh, my sister. Leah, we lost Hans a year ago, and we lost Trinity 13 years ago. Oh, that's ages. And yeah, that's 7 of us. We lost Dad a year after Trin, and then we lost Mum right on COVID, on the lockdown. Yeah, day 1. So yeah, it's been yeah, a lot of loss, but you know, we grieve and then we journey on for things like this, for our mokos. And we have, what have we got here today? We've got 4, 5 heaps, all boys, all toodles. I have my son Taupiri, and but I have 4 more children in Australia. I have Miriana, and she just had moko powder a year ago. She said to me, I go, oh, where'd you get powder from? Like powder Tahau. She goes, oh no, I just like the name. And I'm like, well, I love the name, and that's what I think. I say he's named after powder Tahau because he's in our line. So, and I have Dakota Rose, and I named her Dakota Rose Hiniari after Nani Babi. And then I have Jane, she's just named after a band. Taupiri, my firstborn son, and then Emery, my pōtiki, and they're all in Australia. I don't have any memories of Nani Babi because I was about 1 when she passed away. But I do remember stories Dad taught us and told us. He took us to our marae, he brought us here all the time. He took us to Raglan, and every time we walked in here, it felt like home. So, yeah, I'm glad he taught us that. I'm glad he was a roamer and, you know, took us everywhere. He took us to all the whānau sheds on all the land blocks that they all shore on. Those are memories I have of Dad. He always talked about his uncles, all of them. He said, I didn't have my dad growing up, but I had all my uncles, and I was, you know, yeah, he was never lost for a twak, advice. You know, he got all his skills from them. He tried to emulate Te Hoeroa's way of living. He, to me, when I think of how he urbanised the Māori Marae in Hastings, that whānau community, that let's have 2 houses and let's all work for this one thing that, like, you do on a park. So I feel like Te Hoeroa urbanised that with his business-mindedness and taking care of everybody, but everyone worked for that one thing, for each other. I like that. And it's all I see in all our stories I've been hearing, it's in all of us, you know, so that's cool. I'm not sure what else I can say. You want to say something? You want to say? You've been talking too much.
Do you really get one to sleep day or no?
Yeah, I know. And then you got the nanny night at the end anyway. Yeah.
Good on you.
Thank you. Yeah, kia ora everyone, that's us. No? Well done.
Te whakapono,
that was beautiful. Okay, we now have, by special request, Uncle Kore and Uncle Sheik whānau would like to come up together. They ask, that's what they say. They want to do it that way, Uncle Hoeroa and Uncle, Nico, Uncle Nico and Uncle Sheik. Uncle Nico and Uncle Hoeroa just said, can we do it together? Yeah, I don't see Uncle Fred, but I see Uncle Hoeroa. Uncle, he's coming inside. He's just here. It's a mic for the live stream. Yeah.
couldn't hear anything that was going on anyway, so. Microphone. Yeah, I just wanted to. My name's Hoeroa, anyway. Whoever there's, most of you know that name. I know that you. But I just wanted to get one fact straight. I was Granddad's favourite. Yeah. Hey, is your name Hoeroa? Now that's a fact. My name is Hoeroa because I was his favourite. I never knew him, but I was still his favourite. Anyway, the fact of that is that he gave me his name. I was born, he was still alive, and he held me. This is coming from my mother, my father, and gave me his name. So I must have been his favourite. But, you know, over the years, I was brought up in Omahu. I was brought up in Omahu, and I had more to do with my Hanara whānau and my Sullivan whānau than my Tahau whānau, because of where I was brought up, and my grandparents lived next door. My mother's parents. So over the years, I really had more to do with them than you Tahos. But then when I got older, I did have a bit to do with my cousins, and especially my cousin Nana, who really became close with Nana. He was good, and I miss him. It was tragic the way he went. And John, cousin John, was good. And then there's the others, you know, along like Wano, Ana, got to know them. Especially Nana, man, he taught me a few things. Diving, he was a master diver, and that was the fact. I used to go diving with him from time to time. But he learned me one real important lesson on how to share stuff out. One for you, two for me. And I practiced it today. God bless you, cuz. But anyway, this is our youngest sister, Tapaya. She was named after Kirwira line. And this is my oldest daughter, Kristen. But that's all I had to say. Oh yeah, is there any one of my brothers and sisters on this live stream over there? Janice, she would be. Hey, you should have been here. You should have been here if you're live streaming. Hey. Turn it off. Anyway. Thank you very much. And you know, sorry, one thing I have to say, during this presentation of all the other family before us, I never heard a word you're going to see it. I just heard mumbles because I haven't got very good hearing. And I talk loud so I could hear myself.
Kia ora, kia ora. Tupaia, I'm the Portuguese, the youngest of 10 children. Our parents, so they had a good time. 5 girls, 5 boys. Hoeroa would be the second oldest boy. Aren't you? Yeah, second oldest male. And yeah, if they're live streaming, kia ora, you should have been here. They're also very much alive. But yeah, our father, he did bring us back here. I remember my childhood was here at Tahau. We had beautiful holidays here at the Marae. We bring up Uncle Wall, Nick Wall. That was his favourite cousin. I was hanging out with him. We ring him up, cuz, coming down. We'll have the Marae open whatever time. We'll walk out. Yeah. Yeah, Dad was always, he loved his land. Always brought us back here. Kia ora.
Kia ora. I'm the eldest of 5, and what I know about my aunties and uncles, they're all hard case. They're all funny, they're all comedians, and every party is a laugh, and especially the Tahaus and Sullivans when they get together. So, yeah. So what I learnt is that they're the loud side of the whānau and very, very funny. Yeah, I've got good memories of them when I was little, but when they were older, when I was older, they all left for Australia. So we need to have another reunion. That's what I want, is with everyone. That would be awesome. But kia ora.
Kia ora, Kuri's father. I'm Charlie's little son. He's called Sheep, I think, maybe by his mother, baby, I think. He looked like an Arab. Yeah, so he was born, I think he was about 2 years old when his mother Hannah passed away. Yeah, so he was actually brought up by his aunt Emily Robson. Not sure too many people knew that, but he was brought up really brought up at that young age, sort of between 2 and 10, 11, 12, by the Robson. Fred. I'm the middle brother of 5. Older brother, he passed away maybe 2, 3 years ago. He's got, he had 2 kids, Charlie and KK. They're probably in their 40s. Charlie's, I couldn't name all his kids, but he's got 2 clutches, one to his first partner. Evades me at the moment. His kids will be Monica and Jordan. Monica is actually just qualified as a doctor. Her dad, proud of. And then I think he's got 3 kids to his second wife. Then comes Fred. He's a couple of years older than me. He's here somewhere. I think he's shooting playgrounds at the moment. He's got 2 daughters, Hayley, who's about 40. He's got 4 children. To her first partner, Shannon Carpenter. They've since split up, and she's with a new man, a good fella. Me, I have 2 daughters, Aroha and Talia. my second daughter, Natalia, has she's had a same-sex relationship marriage, and she's also blessed me with a couple of grandsons, Oakley and Sullivan. We'll go down to Brother Robert, passed away in 2017. He was quite a character, well respected around the place, good sharer. Yep. He had bang-eyed one daughter, Katie, and then he had three other girls. Who might be live streaming actually. Whitney's just had her second daughter. That's just the other day, and Casey. Anyway, and then this guy, the youngest brother. I've got two daughters, Rochelle and Jessie. No one should be here, but when they hear about how this was, they'll wish they did. So as you can probably see, Dad is the youngest of the first bunch,
I'd just like to acknowledge some of my aunties. So Auntie Henny McDonald, she let me stay with her when I was like 21, and that's how I got to know some of the whānau there, because I stayed with Auntie Henny for a little while, and then I got to know Auntie Hoeroa, Auntie Lita, Auntie Luana, and then on the Waitaris I stayed with Auntie Helen Swales. And when I was going to school too for about 2 months, and I got to know Aaron, and and through I got to know all these cousins, and then Auntie Hannah, I went over to the island, Waiheke Island, and she showed me around and everything. So I got to stay with and got to know all the different branches, and and if I didn't do that, I wouldn't have known them. So. Yeah, so it's awesome. They were, really, it's awesome to know all my aunties in that way and their families and
As you can see, they have their, well, they actually look like, to me, you look like Nanny Huya. So I say, you have Nanny Huya's beauty. Not you all, just yourself. Even though my dad was your favourite. Where's your song? she got over to overseas to be an exchange student. Was it Brazil?
Yeah.
Yeah. And was fluent in Spanish or Brazilian, Portuguese over there. And she's done many things. So I wanted to acknowledge that because you know how everyone's saying that Hana Tapai is very entrepreneurial, or that smarts that came through from, it's come through the whole whānau. So she's another one. You're welcome. Okay, cousin, you know it's your turn. Stop hiding behind Uncle Lehigh. Hi. So while Diane's coming up, I just wanted to say kia ora Auntie Janice, if you can see me. Wish you were here, but it was Auntie Janice that let me know about Nani Waipu. So I'm really grateful. So come, cousin. It's actually been, there's been a group of us, the organising committee, including this cousin, tirelessly trying to think how we're going to work it out. Look, it's happened. It's come together. Your turn.
Well, kia ora whānau, some of you know I'm Diane, and my mother and father, well, my father is John Waitahanui and my mother is Fiona. So I'm the third eldest, and I was the one that they whāngai to Nanny Spud, or Nani Eno, and she raised me until she passed away. So in that time that I had with her, I got to know my brother, or whāngai brother Sunny, really well, his wahine and his children. So I class them as my brothers and sisters because they are. And we have lost 2 of them from that line, as well as my brother and as well as Carly. But I'd just like to acknowledge that I consider you my brothers and sisters because of your grandmother, Nani Eno. So from there, after my mum and dad whāngai me to Nani Eno, I then went to Ngāikiha, my mama. And she is my mama. She raised me to be a good girl. It took her a hard, long road to make me a good girl, but it finally came through. So she was always a constant in my life growing up, and I always knew my real parents. So I was lucky. I had 3 mamas and 2 daddas. It only became a problem when it was a birthday and I'd run in, even at the marae, and go, Mama, and the whole 3 went, what? And I went, oh, really Spud. So I had to kind of remember to put a name at the end of Mama. But they loved it. And so I got to know and be raised, and that was on Nani Eno's wish, and she told her nephew, this girl was to know you and be raised, to know that you are their mama and their papa and your brothers and sisters. So she made sure that that stayed, so that I was never a lost child. No, instead of being a lost child, I got too much crammed into my brain from a very young age, and it kind of, but I knew the perspective back then, and so I'm glad that Nani Eno made sure that her nephew stuck to that, because I'm pretty sure she would have been his ears. So, and Ngāikiha, because she grew up with all her nieces and nephews, obviously there was some older than her, she loved all her youths. She loved all her nieces and nephews. Even to arguing, hey auntie, I don't need to look at you because you know who I'm doing. All her youths, arguing, but still awhi aroha youths, very hard. Yes, she was a bit of a prankster. I'm sure you copped the end of that. And, she used to love putting up the old to you kids, always scary. Actually, and she's the biggest scaredy cat of all. Jeez. Ava. I'll be sitting there whistling sometimes, go, stop whistling. Especially at night time. Go, why? She goes, she could be whistling to her. And I went, is that an answer? Oh, well, obviously I was superstitious. But actually, she instilled that in me. So it brings me back to think, oh, am I upsetting some lines or boundaries or whatever may be out there? So what I'm trying to say there is that over the years growing up with my mama, she used to tell me a lot of things. And I used to tell her a lot of things that I could remember from, and she used to look at me and go, because I can actually recall quite a few things from a very young age, and apparently from her telling me I was still in nappies. So she used to call me Elephant Brain, hence the body now, but keep the body. So that was always a constant, but not only did she used to call me that, but Carlene too. Sunny's Wahine. Ooh, Elephant Brain. Yeah. And I didn't know whether to take that as a compliment or an insult, but I gradually realised it was actually a compliment because what I've retained in my memories. Yeah. So Mama always told me growing up, and like it wasn't easy growing up with her, as you all know. She was a very hard woman, but I loved that about her because she kept me in check because I had very hard ears, and that was because I was spoiled by Nanny Eno. Yeah, so and I get that needed to be knocked out of me because and this was the one to do it, and you take the pie, you know. But she told me a lot of things, and it kind of hurt me because I thought that, you know, it went in one ear and it didn't stop here, and then it just went out the other ear, but it didn't. Because I hear a lot of stories come back and I go, oh, I remember hearing that as a mama. So that's what I mean. She loved all her nieces and nephews and her brothers. And, you know, she didn't have an easy life too. She lost her dad, our koro, at a very young age, and then she lost her mama. So she was more or less in the same boat as me, but not to that respect, but she had Nanny Bubby. She went to Nanny Bubby, and Nanny Bubby raised her. But Nanny Bubby had these three brats, Auntie Colleen, Auntie Lita, and my dad. So they were like her baby brothers and sisters, so she thought she had the rights to do anything to them. And go, don't tell your mother. Because she get told off when they go. And she locked them in the cupboard one night because they were being naughty, so she locked them in their wardrobe. Until she knew when Nanny Bubby was coming over, and then she let them out and go, don't tell your mother. Well, Auntie Lita was the first one with her and told her mother. So yeah, my mother copped it for that. But her being the baby, she had a lot of memories. She was very private about imparting some of those memories, and I used to try and drag it out of her, but she knew that time wasn't right. And when she did finally tell me, I exited New Zealand to go and live over there after I left the Navy. So every time I used to come home, she used to give a piece to me and a piece to me and a piece to me. But one thing she always told me was, make sure you keep your heart in the Father. Because she loved you. It's like you wouldn't know. And I think you do know that by having those interactions with her in the bay and in the sharing room. So I just wanted to let you know that she loved you dearly. Very dearly. Yous were her favourites, actually. Oh no, all of yous were her favourites, sorry. But yous were very special to her. So, living over in Aussie, when I found out my mum was sick, I came home. And this is where we started. I used to drive into her treatments. And then along the journey, you know, she'd be telling me a few things. And I thought, well, this is the time when she's really going to give it to me. And it was an overload. But it's still good. I can still, if somebody triggers my thoughts, I can remember what she told me. So as I was driving her down to Palmerston from Hastings, I took the time out from over there and I says, no, I'm going home to my mum and I'll drive her. So I remember her driving her. I says, I'm just going to pull over, mum. And she goes, what for? Oh, I want to smoke. She goes, don't be crazy. Smoke in the car. And I went, oh, hello, lung codes, huh? You know, and so she goes, no, it's okay. And so I used to kind of like practically get me out the window, leg on the accelerator, having a smoke until she put my ear, and she goes, actually, I like the smell. But she was a woman that had a lot of memories. Yeah, she was a party goer, but she was a mahi woman, and I'm glad she instilled that in me. as well, growing up with her. You know, her teaching me how to be a rousey was not easy. She was actually more harder on me than anyone. And for whatever reasons that was, I think now it's because of now me being an adult. So here stands next to me my daughter, Stevie Nevada, and this is her wife, Michelle. And I do have a 5-year-old muko, but I don't know where he is.
My Māori boy.
Oh, yeah. So it was important for me to bring him home because I didn't want him to come home later on in his adult life and he rocks up here, because I do talk to him a lot about Māori and whānau and stuff like that. And I didn't want him to come back later on in life and say, oh, you know, oh, whakapapa te here, and they're going to go, well, who are you? So to me, bringing him back is very important. This one's due here in March. Oh, far out. February. February. So Stevie was her heart, my mama's heart. She actually tried to take it off me, and she was only an hour breathing in this world. And I couldn't allow that because I didn't want her to kind of like have a life like I did. But that wasn't a bad thing. It's just that this one had a father, and I knew that it'd be hard for me to say I need to give my baby up to my mother, because I would have happily done it, but I didn't want to go against my husband. Because him being a Pakira and all, not kind of like understanding the whānau. I think it even took him 25 years to finally get it, or marriage, to finally get it in his head how I was structured. He was just going, you're doing my head in. Which mum is that? Why is that? What's this? So I'd just like to say I am so happy that my cousin actually rang me up out of the blue, Hannah, that is, out of the blue, about 1.5 years ago, my curry. And she goes, oh, kia ora kousa tana. And I'm like, you know how many Hannas there are in this whānau? And I says, oh, kia ora kousa, pretending I knew. And she goes, oh, if we could put together a whānau, would you like to be on the committee? And I'm thinking, well, I'm going to have to say yes, aren't I? Because we are this generation and it's time for us to step up. And I says, yeah, okay, Kari, I will. Oh, then it took her a freaking year after that to ring me. And I went, oh, now it's happening, okay. And we actually hit the road running. And I know that it wasn't really short notice, but it was maybe not the right timing. But what we have here, and to have this kia ora whānau in Aussie, and everywhere else, because I know we're a bit like that all over the world, and but at least this way we can bring them into what is actually happening here this weekend. And I'd just like to take my hat off to my cousin, Hannah, as well. Don't you give me that raised eyebrow, because she was the actual one to set the wheels in motion for this, because we don't need another 30 years, because we lost too many in those 30 years. And we need to keep our old ones here with us to impart their knowledge on us of our whakapapa, of their memories, so that we can pass them on to our young ones. Because we have generations that haven't even been born here, and yet we wanted to include them, to bring them back so that they knew where they belong. And so they won't go out travelling this world lost, not knowing. And I must admit, we need to teach them that, because we actually taper off from our grand-aunties, our aunties, and, you know, and I'd like to just say that, whānau, I'm so happy we're all here. I'm so happy this is happening. The next one we will organise a bit better, but, you know, maybe the next one, hopefully we can bring our Okukutis whānau home, because they need to be here to do the next one. Are you listening? Or is it that one over there? Either one. Oh. And so hopefully the next one, our whānau, that we will get together, and it won't be 30 years, it'll be a bit sooner than 30 years. This one is actually the stepping stone for the next. And then from then on, the word will spread, and then everybody can come in, and then the next one after that, we might actually get the whole lot. Then we've got to book out the whole taupo, because our maraes around here just ain't that big enough for this whānau. So I've said enough because people are falling asleep, and I'd like to just see if my daughter would like to say a few words about her koko. Actually, she calls Mum koko because, as you know, our auntie, or your niece, she is gay, of course, and so I actually have a lot of mummies from here that I all love because they were all in parts and stages of my life. The current one and my auntie Duru, I was supposed to bring her here just to be that kind of presence for my mama, and but obviously a few things happened at home and I couldn't bring her. She was ready to come, but anyway, I had to leave her behind. But this one here, because it was Nanny and we're trying to teach her to call Mum koro, she just couldn't get the koro out, so it ended up being koko. And my mum goes, I like that, I'm your koko. So here's your moko, if she loves dearly. And would you like to say a few words, my baby? You want tissue? Yeah, of course you do.
Mum calls me a professional mourner and she wonders where I get it from, but I'll try. Mum was found out a million times, so I had 5 sets of grandparents, whereas most people have 2. So I was so confused. Oh, Bub, do you remember so-and-so? That's your nanny. That's your nanny. Do you remember this one? When you were 2 years old? No. How? You were 2. I was 2. So it was hard growing up, trying to figure out where I belonged, but I belong everywhere, just like Mum. I've always made sure that I fit in with her. And sometimes when Mum talks about her, I don't think we're talking about the same woman, because she was never hard on me, she was always soft. Soft with her words, soft with her body. She'd always give the best cuddles. She was my cuckoo. I miss her a lot. She had the most distinctive laugh. And if you ever heard TLC Waterfalls on replay at the Albert, it's because she let me choose the songs on the jukebox. She let me sit on the pool table, do whatever I want. I'd grab one of those mini raspberry sodas from behind the bar. I'd sit on a nanny's lap, play the pokies while they fell asleep. They got the smoke in their mouth. But that was cool, and I remember she had crayfish up in the office, and I hated seafood because Mum brought me up in Australia, blame her. She's teaching me how to crack open the legs because that's all I could do at that age. But we went years without seeing each other. But whenever I saw her, I never left her side. But yeah, that's all I got to say about my cool. She's beautiful. Oh. Mum wants me to tell you I inherited the Tahau feet because I have bunions. But my son actually inherited her wit, so he's a sarcastic little thing if you see him running around. But yeah, that's all I got. No cold, no water.
Kia ora whānau, thank you so much.
You got it, Mum? Thank you, Tate.
remembered something, and it's quite bizarre because I didn't really know my nanny, but I knew this nanny, Nanny Nike, because Nanny Nike used to run the DB Heretaunga, that pub, and that was when I was just starting to experiment, and some sweet memories there, and then Nanny ran the Albert. So, and that was like the main pub in town in Hastings. And so just, I think about it, I think, man, to walk into a pub and know that you are absolutely safe. I was young then and could go into this quite a rough pub, and I'm young and there's older people there, but I'm completely safe. That's because my nanny was there. There's Dad's auntie, and so that I do actually remember Nanny Nike. Yeah, it was massive to go there, and sometimes even be cheeky enough to go there without any money. That's how lovely Nanny was. Nanny Nike really, and my dad really loved her, really close with Nanny Nike. And so there was real special memories there with Dad and Nanny Nike. So that's cool. My sister. One funny thing about my sister, Diane, as you know, was actually came from Nanny Bubby and then moved to Nanny Eno, and then before going to Nanny Nike. So when she was in my family home when I was born, when she was there at my home when I was born, I thought I had 2 older brothers and 2 older sisters. And it wasn't until quite old, like I was like late teens, or even early 20s actually, when I realised that it was just me and my younger brother, the one that didn't make it. We were like, did you know? She's not actually our sister. And then he's like, no. But our older sister and older brothers, they knew how it went. But I said to him, I wondered where she went to. She just sort of disappeared. She used to be there. She used to, between both older sisters and my older brother, he used to look after us. And she disappeared. And she disappeared over to Nanny Nike's. Soon caught up with her, but yeah, it's a real blessing. I really love my sister, Tahau. She taught us heaps of things. Looked after me and Boy. Me and Joachim, the young girl too. We were like the babies. And it was Diane and Sis and my older brothers that actually looked after us. So it's a real blessing to be here and to be back in connection and this beautiful love you, Sis. We're just gonna, even teaching me how to ride a bike and other things. It's pushed me on the bike to the next sibling and then pushed me back and forward. But anyway, Sis, we're gonna sing a song.
I know, and I'm sorry.
I want to sing a song with you. Ka waiata kia Maria, Hinei whakamea te mai, te whare tangata. Ine purotu, ine ngaka, ine rangi Marie. Ko te whaia, ko te whaia, ko te ao, ko te ao. Ko te whaia, ko te whaia, ko te ao, ko te ao.
Before we have a little break and have something, kai and that, I would like to invite Stan Tahau. We came back and moved back here over nearly 30 years ago. Time flies. And we came back to live in Waitahanui to recollect. So this is Stan's first cousin, who's the actual Kahui. I married into the whānau. So, hi, this is Wow from me, kia ora. I heard this room was going down only yesterday. I was interested in who the Tahau's were because it wasn't our night. We were aware of that, so I just snuck in the back door to have a look, and I'm glad I did. We're from Ranginui's line. I live on a piece of our whenua. I occupied it 30 years ago. That's where I sit today, 30 years later. We have a farm piece of land, you might say, that came back to our whānau. It's down Hoeroa. Anyone of you know that? Down the road. I actually sit on there too, and have been for 3 years. I've been sitting there to have a say for our Tahau whānau, for our Waitahanui, basically. I want to know what's going on. I'm in there to learn this and have a voice, for our people. And that's what I'm about. Really. But that's what I've done for 30 years. I've sat in the background really at Hui's, listened to all the Hoeroa up the top. 30 years on, I stand here. Now, you know what? I've got a voice, and it's to you. Maybe I'm just being uplifted, and I can go on to stand there and speak instead of sitting out there and listening. Because I've been listening for so long. Maybe this phone is quite shaky. But it's my first time up, and it's encouraging to have Tahau's boosting up a little bit to carry on with my mahi. So we inform everyone what's going on about our whenua. Have a voice. Our Tahau whānau hasn't been out there for a lot of years. It was Stan Tahau, he was the first cousin of mine. He took me under his wing when I knew nothing. And we moved out onto the whenua, both of us, and we've been there ever since to fight it. It's all good now. Did that fight? We've got another step now. But I want our Tahau whānau to stand up and know who they are, where they come from, and what we're entitled to have a voice in these negotiations of the bigger picture of what's happening with our whenua. We don't have much left. Those big wigs up here have taken that, and we've stood back and we've watched it because we don't know. We don't know anything about it. And that's what I want to tell my own young side too. Stand up and have a voice. Even if it gets us nowhere, at least we've got a voice and we can be in those local negotiations to steer it, or plant a seed even, and what happens on them. Just don't go there and see 500 houses set up there. No one asks about the infrastructure, what's happening, nothing. They just don't want to talk about whānau. And now look at it right here. The Tahau whānau is really bigger. You'll see faces out there, and maybe you're interested in it. You might be from Australia or wherever. Email. Come on board. I'm standing on my own. I'm right here. and that's how I roll. I go out there on my own and have a voice for all of us, especially my Tahau whānau. This is the first time I've been out the side, and I'm looking out there and I wonder, for 3 years they would say, oh, you're from that Pakira. And I'm going, no, I'm from Waitahanui. You're so much darker than me, see? Then I look out and think, oh, no wonder they used to say that to me. So I get it now, but that's me. My name's Romani. Ranginui's my koro is Te Weru. uncle was next to me. Yeah, all pizza to learn. My father is Te Ito Tahau, and of course then there's me. So that's where I come from, down to Tahau, from those guys.
We actually have a little surprise. We didn't know my big sister's children are here. And I know they're shy, but they're not really. So we need to come and say hello, nephew. Yeah, those cutters. Yeah. You know this. So this is Isaac, and this is Maria, my sister. The name of the big sister. Oh, there's hello. So sister can talk for herself.
Kia ora whānau. We're the Bronze whānau. We grew up in Rotorua. My mother is a Tahau, so Ene Tahau. Oldest daughter of Te Nanaki a Tahau. And Eva Tahau, our grandmother's here. He was Te Nanaki is the son of Eric Tahau, who was the son of Te Hoeroa. He's my dad, Tom Bronze, and my little sister, Bronia. This is my oldest daughter, Nami, and young Bo is Bronia's, and we've got a few little tamariki running around. There he is. Little mocha blondes running around there, else. I'm not just happy to be here. I was up north. I came down from Kaitaia last night. Just doing mahi up there. And, finished a bit earlier, so glad we could come down and come down to our marae. I think the last time I come down here, I was, I don't know, very young. So to reconnect, meet some whānau. I'm very, very proud to be part of this whenua, part of this lake, the history that comes with it. Taken a little while for me to get to that journey of reconnecting and learning more about my whakapapa. I'm very proud of the history of our tupuna.
Just to wake everyone up.
Yes.
I've known the Tahus. I've known the Tahus for 41 years. That's about how long I've been married to Annette. The first time I came to Pakira, we had a look at the carvings on the front of the marae, and they got big eyes pointing sideways. I said, "Yes, that's where you come from." So over the years, I've been to a couple of these whānau and got to know a lot of the whānau. I've also been fortunate to be a doctor. I'm a GP in Rotorua for 30 odd years, and over that time, I've met people who have known the Tahus. And I've forgotten the name of this guy. This is maybe 15 years ago, and he's in 80s at the time. And he told me a story about Holder Tahau. And as kids, when they're walking around the marae, Holder had a reputation. He would sneak up on them, and they would never hear him coming. And he'd go, and scare the daylights out of them. He was, of course, a well-known taiaha expert. And he could sneak up on them, and they said they would never hear him coming. And he would scare the daylights out of them. And to this day, he was telling me the story. A man in his 80s, he's telling me about Holder Tahau. So I remember that to this day. It's a story that I'll never forget. And also, I believe this is correct. Nana, when he was a little boy, because he was the oldest child of Eric, he was the oldest child of Te Hoeroa, he got to stay with Paura Tahau and live next door to the Waitahanui River. They had a little wee, tiny little whare there, and a few fruit trees you might still see where they are now. Uncle Sheik showed them to me the last reunion we had. Every day he would go and bathe in the Waitahanui in the morning. Winter, no matter what the weather, he would every day, almost like a religious ritual, he'd go and bathe in the river. Before he'd start his day, he'd say his karakias and away he'd go. So he was schooled in the old ways. So just a couple of memories I have of the Tahaus. I'll turn the time to my...
Hello, kia ora. I'll just introduce my family. So, both my oldest son, and then we got Mesa and Net. So she's named after her nanny and her nanny, Net Tahau. And then we got Quinn, Kenny, Jane over here. So, bit of whakapapa to pass down. So, happy to do that. Happy to be here and to reconnect and to connect, because I have no memory of being on this marae. So I'm really happy to be here. Kia ora.
I'm quite disappointed at seeing the changes on the marae. They took all those eyes off. I hope someone will put them back. Kia ora koutou. Yes, I'm Annette Tapai Tahau, ni Tahau. I got the Tapai, so I'm really proud of that. And also the Annette, because Annette was my dad's sister. So I'm the oldest of Tanana here at Tahau, and he was very, very loud. And we have some grandchildren who are just like that, very, very loud, bombastic, not shy, can sing, dance and whatever. They're real entertainers. So that's our inheritance from their grandfather, or my father, their grandfather. Taupo has a lot of memories for me. We came to Taupo nearly every summer growing up, and lived in most of the shearing sheds around here. Worked at most of the shearing sheds at Rousey-bout and all that sort of stuff all around here, and Debrett's was our evening bath, so have lots and lots of fond memories of Taupo, and of course I don't live very far, living in Rotorua, and meeting a lot of the Ranginui whānau there in Rotorua. They're everywhere there, the Tahau's there, and I think when we first went to Rotorua, there was a Tom Tahau in hospital, and I think he was a grandson or rangiaho. So lots of Tahaus around the Ranginui side. And also growing up, I got to know, spending a lot of time with my grandparents, got to meet a lot of granddad's brothers and their families, and going to their children's 21st, I remember that, and spending a lot of time with Uncle Henry. Uncle Henry had younger children that were kind of my age group, and the same with Uncle Kuri's family. There were some of the children were the younger ones who were in my age group, and so I got to, even though they were my dad's first cousins, we kind of grew up like we were all first cousins. I suppose that all kind of gets blended and all the same. I remember Uncle John's family, Uncle John Waitiri's family and all his kids. I remember visiting them quite a bit. I remember going to, because my dad kind of always stayed connected to his family and to his cousins. I remember him taking us to Tukuroa, so we met Auntie Bubby and some of their children, Auntie Hene there in Tukuroa. And then later on we met Auntie Charlene Utini, so we kind of knew her through our church. That was kind of later on that we realised that we were all whānau. We knew the Wainui family really well in the church, but we didn't know the connection until much later. Auntie Charlene used to live on the same street as we did in Blacksmere. She was just around the corner a little bit. So I was really, really grateful to have been brought up amongst all our Tahau family. And if anybody said to me they were a Tahau, I knew that they weren't part of our Tahau line. So, and then once they explained what line they were, it made sense. And not many people get to know, thoroughly, all your cousins, like all your dad's first cousins, and we knew all our dad's first cousins on that side of the family. We got to meet all of them. Uncle Paul's kids, we knew them. Auntie Naika, we met Auntie Naika heaps of times. Nanny Eno, she just lived on the other side of the showgrounds, so on Grandad and Uncle Henry. And then of course the shearing shed life always connected us. We were always moving in and out of the different gangs. So that was kind of my upbringing until when I was a teenager, we moved to Auckland, and then we spent a bit of time with Uncle Henry and his family because they were already living in Auckland when we were up there. And so that's my continual connection, I guess, with our whānau, this whānau, and coming to the reunion that we had, and I had all little kids like this age, and we camped at the back there, and had a fabulous reunion during that time as well. So yeah, that's me. Thank you. Kia ora. Just this session.
Kia ora tātou whānau, he whakakapi tēnei kua hawa o tātou hui. Me kara kia tātou, e whae tō mātou atua tēnei mātou, te iro e te leki a koe no kōringa kaha, e mui tō tātou wānanga i tēnei ata, tēnei ahia. Nā koe manaaki